Hello everyone. Today's video, it's kind of lengthy. It's taken 3 or 4 days to print. I wanted to get this finished today, so I'm going to do both the beginning video and the end video all at the same time. We're going to compare painting a car body with Rustoleum versus using an airbrush. I'm not using an enamel in the airbrush. I am using acrylics from Model Air and Vallejo for that. And we will use Rustoleum on the other car body. We'll use a Rustoleum automotive primer, which is thinner than their flat black. And then we will also use I believe it's Sunrise Red. And then the car body on the acrylic side, we'll use a black Vallejo primer with red Model Air spray paint. Depending on how everything looks, may need to throw some gloss on. We'll just see how everything comes out there at the very end. That's the hot topic right now. You can get a decent paint job with Rustoleum. You're not going to get it straight out of the can. You can get a really good paint job out of the can, but it's how you finish it. It's going to be the sand, the polish, the buff, all that stuff to get that to a mirror quality finish. Right here, what we're doing with this, we're just going to paint it. Once we get to the end, we'll see how everything looks, and the builder themselves can take it from there what they want to do. We'll just get the finished product after the final coats have been sprayed. So stay tuned. It's a lengthy video, but I think everyone will enjoy it. Hey, please comment, subscribe, hit the like button. Let me know what I can do better. Let me know, what I'm doing that people don't agree with. I better not put that in there. Then I better be careful what I ask for. But no, comment. Let me know what's going on. If you see anything, let me know. But please watch the video. I'll talk to y'all later.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Pop's Place. What we're going to do over the next several videos is walk through step by step on painting a car body with Rustoleum versus using an airbrush. So to kind of get one thing straighter out in the open, maybe not straight, it's a bit harsh, but you're going to have more control with an airbrush. You're going to have better results with an airbrush. The Rustoleum is a little bit thicker, but with practice, you can get good finishes out of a paint job with Rustoleum. And I'm just going to do a kind of a comparison today. So what we're going to do is, first off, for this video, we're going to get both bodies primed. What I've done here is went out and purchased primer that I've used forever. It is Rustoleum's automotive. So what I'm going to do, we'll walk through the process of everything. Today we'll just get everything primed. What I'm going to do here now is, like I said, I'm going to use this primer. It's been in warm water for about 10-15 minutes. Bring the temperature up. That helps it thins it out a little bit, helps it flow a little bit better. We'll use this. Like I said, I'll put everything on pause, set up the next body, and we'll go from there. Something that I saw the other day was this little anti-static tool, and I tell you what, it has really helped out on the paint jobs, regardless if I'm using my airbrush or a can of Rustoleum. You just go over the body, it gets rid of any current dust, and also releases static, so nothing is attracted to it. So that's pretty awesome. We'll give that a quick brushing. Put it back in the spray booth. I have everything forward on the spray booth, so that way I can get a clean sweep as I go across. So what I'm going to do now is I'll take the cap off this. I'm going to turn on this. This has been shook for over 2 minutes. I recommend mixing these and shaking these for a minimum 2 minutes. just to make sure you get everything smooth and moving. So I'm gonna turn this on and we'll get going. So what we did there, that was a super light first coat. You don't want to go into this and just waller it down. You want to come in, you want to do a nice light layer, building layers up as you go. You don't want to come in and flood this first off the bat. It's not going to work that way. You have to make an attempt to make this work right. You can't just come in here, flood it, and think it's going to be perfect. If you want a good paint job with this paint, you have to take your time. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put it on pause. I'm going to put this on. I'm going to use the dryer. I'm just going to put it in there to kind of get it out of the way for right now. And then I'm going to swap bodies, and then we'll go from there. All right. See you in a minute. All right. Welcome back again. So what I've done now is I've gone ahead and mixed up a little batch of Vallejo primer, black primer, a little bit of Vallejo airbrush improver. Got enough in here for about 3/4 of a airbrush full. So there was probably about maybe 6-7 drops of the airflow improver. Mixed all that up. Prepped the body the same way, sanded it, got all the layer lines that were visible removed. Went over it with the anti-static tool, a little brush. Airbrush settings, my airbrush is running about 15 pounds. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn on the compressor, turn back on the spray booth, and then I'm going to give this a coat of primer, and we'll go from there. All right. Again, very light coats. I will probably do at least one more coat of primer on this. Again, let this sit, let it set up, come in, sand it, go back, put another coat of primer on it. Got a couple areas in there where there might have been maybe a little bit too much flow improver in it. So I'm going to go back in, sand it, knock everything off, go back over it again. But that's where we stand right now. That's where we are. Again, I will come back in a little bit. I'll throw one more coat of primer on the first one with the Rustoleum, and then I'll throw another coat of primer on this one. All right. See you in a bit. All right, we're back for the second coat of Rustoleum Automotive Primer on the first body. I did, just so you guys know, anytime I use my airbrush, through every layer, I do break it down and I clean it. Something I've learned over the years is struggled to use an airbrush for a long time, and it was mostly how I cleaned it or failed to clean it. Excuse me. So now I go through, break down my airbrush every time, clean it, pull the needle out, clean the needle, take the bowl off, clean all that, just to make sure we don't have any issues. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to put this second coat of primer on the first body, and we'll go from here. Okay. Wrong one. That looks pretty good. Forgot my compressor's still on. So I'm gonna put this back over here real quick and let that sit. Again, dry it. The boot's not off. It's just in there to get out of the way. Again, that was another not quite as light as the first coat. A little bit heavier than the first coat. That actually covered really well, so that we will let sit until tomorrow, to where I can come back, lightly sand out any dust or any high spots, and then we'll start the color. Okay, a few minutes here. I'm gonna put it back on pause, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back and hit the airbrush body and see how we're doing there. Okay. Okay. What we're gonna do now is give the airbrush body a second coat of primer, and then we'll get everything turned off, come back, kind of discuss what's going to happen next, and we'll go from there. All right. All right, I'll get my brush cleaned out here in a second. Let me get everything turned off. Sorry about that. So I laid that one on a little bit thicker than the first one. Also went around the second time just trying to eliminate some of the paint there in the bowl. So what we'll do, we'll let all this sit. Let it sit overnight. We'll come back about this time again tomorrow, and what we'll do is we'll look at it, compare the two coverages, and then what we'll do is we'll look and sand everything, sand off the blemishes, see where we stand, and we'll go from about 24 hours since we did our last paint jobs on the primer. Let's take a look and see how things went overnight. This is the body with the acrylic primer sprayed out of the airbrush. Now, mind you, we're doing two different types of paints. We're doing one acrylic, we're doing one Rustoleum. So, and that's an enamel. But you can go through this and look at this. The body came out really nice. The paint's really nice. So this one I will do, take some 2000 grit, just kind of knock off some of the, there's one blemish on the tail here, and there's a couple on the roof. More than likely just something that I did. It's not the paint. I had an issue like this when I painted the Ford. I used too much of the airflow, flow improver, and it kind of I screwed it up. So, but everything else here looks really nice. As far as the duplicolor paint job for the primer, it looks really good. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. Details are all still there. It's not buried. This looks really, really good. The paint's really smooth. And again, that's two very light coats of the Duplicolor Automotive primer in black. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm just going to spray. I'm going to go ahead and do the Duplicolor on this, pause our taping, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the sanding and the painting on the other one. So we're looking really good there. So I'm going to go ahead and get this ready. The booth is ready. Rustoleum car is still sitting over there in the dryer, just being protected. The dryer's not on. It's just being protected from dust and debris. I've gone over, sanded out the body on the other Le Mans or Grand Am. So what I'm going to do now is add an airbrush on. Sorry for the background noise. I'll try and edit some of that out. I use a Neo from Awada with the trigger brush, single action. This is an awesome brush. Ran it at 15 pounds yesterday. I'm going to run it at 20 pounds today, just for my preference. Again, using Model Air. I'm not going to add any flow improver to this one, just because I had some of the issues last time. But we're just going to run it straight out of here. It does spray straight out of the bottle just fine. I just have to watch out for the tip drying or anything like that. So we're set. We're ready to roll. So I'm going to go ahead and put a base coat of paint on this. Okay, that is painted. I just went around it an extra time just to get rid of the extra paint that is in the airbrush. All I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna let that tack up a little bit, wait another 20 minutes, come back, put another coat on, we'll get progressively heavier. The color looks really good. Just need to make sure we build it up in layers, not all at once. All right, I'll see y'all in a little bit. Okay, it's been about 15, 20 minutes. Clean the airbrush out in between like always, just to get rid of any buildup. One of the things I've noticed about the Vallejo Model Air paints is that it will actually kind of chunk up. So you have to, I feel, you have to go in, clean it out. That way you don't have any extra buildup. So I'm going to go through, do this again. Just another round of light coats, probably 2 rounds, just to get rid of the paint that's in the bowl of the brush. And then we'll be ready for a couple heavy wet coats after this one. All right. Okay, that was done. Just got down to where the bowl was empty. You can kind of hear the noise. Didn't quite want to go that far, but we're sitting in good shape. I'm gonna let this sit for another half hour, let it kind of level itself out, and then we're going to go in with 2 or 3 wet coats. All right, the primer cure. I'm getting ready to put on some mist coats of our red. It's Rustoleum Sunrise Red. This has been soaking in a bath of hot water, warm water, for about 5 minutes. Kind of thins it out. Always remember to shake the paint minimum 2 minutes. So I know I'm kind of off camera. I'm trying to get the air spray booth and everything else in here. So I'm just going to come in, give it as light coat of this as possible. Again, distance versus speed. So that's it for the first coat. That's it, no more. We'll hit it with another coat here in about 20, 30 minutes. Let this one tack up, and then we'll come back and do that. Okay, we're back for the second round of mist coats. Again, speed and distance. Make sure you don't have a buildup of paint on your nozzle. Always make sure to double check that. Again, speed and distance is key here. Okay, again, super easy. Now, what we're going to walk into next round is we're going to start putting the paint on a little bit heavier. Give it a couple good wet coats. Again, a little bit closer, a little bit slower, vice versa, however it works. We'll see where we stand. We could just do this in 2 coats and see how it works. All right, thanks. Okay, we've let that tack up for a little. Start the first of probably 2 wet coats just to see how this is going to work. Okay. In between, while we were sitting there waiting, I went ahead and cleaned the nozzle. Just used some regular enamel thinner. Got in there, just clean that up a little bit. I'll spray it just to make sure that we have everything out of it first. Make sure there's no thinner residue or anything left in it. Again, you'll change your speed and your distance just a little bit here. That is wet coat number 1. Let's let that tack up for a few, and then we'll come back and we will put on the second coat and then see where we stand from there. See you in a bit. Okay, cannot believe what I just did. I went ahead and was talking and painting and talking and going through what I was going to do and didn't push record. So just to kind of go over where we were, just put the second wet coat on. Had a couple little areas along the door jamb here, along the inner fender that were still kind of rough, just because it's hard to get the spray in there. So I changed the angle a little bit, tried to get some of that covered. It's been in the drying booth now for probably 30 minutes. So what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to do one more wet coat. It looks pretty decent. My light on my camera died, so sorry about that. So I think the color looks decent. No runs, no drips, no errors so far. So again, I'm going to give it one more coat. Now the body's warm, it's been in the dryer, so that will change the way the paint dries to it. Excuse me, might make it a little rougher. I'm gonna try to avoid that, but we'll see what happens. The dryer is not very warm, so it's only sitting about maybe 90 to 100 degrees right now. So I'm gonna give it one more coat. That should be it. So that will give us 2 mist coats, 2 coats of primer, 2 mist coats of the base color, and then this will be the 3rd heavy coat. So 7 coats of Krylon, 7 coats of Rustoleum, and the detail right now still pops out before the last color coat. Still looks pretty good, still looks decent. We'll go through all that after we let it cure and dry. That way we can handle it and actually pick it up and show the detail a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and get this last color coat on, and then we'll talk some more. color coat looks really well. Covered really good. I'm not going to let it sit out here very long. I'm going to put it over here in the dryer. I am going to let that sit for quite a while. Probably minimum 3 days before we come back and talk about it. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. See you soon. Okay, we've let this Grand Dam body set that we airbrushed. Looks phenomenal. No mars, no bumps, no scratches. So can't complain about that one bit. It is a flat red. So what we're going to do now is take some Model Master Acryl, water-based clear, gloss clear, and we'll spray it on here. See how it works out. Okay, went around it a couple times, again, just to burn up what was in the bowl. Always remember, when you're painting acrylics, you can see your wet line. So stay right on your wet line as you're painting either up or down. Just a little tip I learned a long time ago. That way you maintain a steady layer and you're not missing spots. Okay, we'll see you here in a few. All right. Over the past few days, you've seen what we've done with both an airbrush and a can of Rustoleum. I do apologize for how I spliced all that up. Still trying to learn the splicing software and the editing and all that. So that's going to be a little bit rough. I wanted to kind of string everything together instead of bouncing back and forth. Plus, I was also painting a few different bodies at the same time. So I did just want to kind of run everything together instead of flipping back and forth. So we've let everything sit. It is to the stage where the paint is dry, the paint is finished. The next step is you can do your novice polish, sand. We can go from there. We'll probably do a separate video on that. This one's getting a little bit too long. This will probably end up being about 40 minutes from start to finish once we finish this one up, if I can ever stop talking. So we're finished here. Here is one of the bodies. Again, 73 Grand Dam.
Everything looks good. You can still see the trunk lines, body lines, everything there looks really, really good. I'm not going to say which one it is yet. We'll look at the other one here pretty quick. Detail is there. You can see door handle, lock for the trunk, door handle, and the key. Decent finish on this. I was really, really surprised. Looks pretty good. And then that beautiful front end of the car. You can, I don't know if you can pick it up or drop it, or see the Pontiac symbol there in the front on the hood, or there on the grill. Looks really good. This was my high school ride. So one of these I'm going to continue with. The best printed body. One of the other bodies is kind of bad. Here's the other body. You can see the trunk lines. Got a little fisheye on it. Don't know. Something I'm doing. That's a little bump. So that will sand out. So that'll be part of what you would do to finish the model, is go down, sand every surface lightly, and then go into the buff and the polish. So door lines look good. You can see the door handle and the keyhole. See the emblem there on the front. Again, that good looking grill. Same on this side. Panel lines look really good. And back around, you can see the roof. It looks, again, there is a blemish on that as well. Going through the sanding process. Now, both of them up, side by side, top to bottom, however I get in the picture. This one is the Rustoleum body. This is the Rustoleum paint. Came out really well. I will go over some differences here in a second, but this came out really, 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 really good. A little bit of orange peel. Again, that's where you're sanding and everything, your final stuff that you do in the end, if that's what you want to do. So let's kind of go over some detail. Could have been my printer. The settings could not be, maybe not dialed in exactly, but if you look at this, you can see the front and rear marker lights. They weren't super deep and super pronounced in the print, but you can still see them here. Right there it is, right in that light. You can still see them front and back. Sorry, my lighting stinks in here. I don't have an overhead light. I have one overhead light, but I don't have anything behind me. So you can, it is what it is. You can see the keyholes and everything. All that's really pronounced. When you get to this body, this is the Rustoleum body. Okay. Again, good looking paint job. A little glossy. On this side, you can barely see the keyhole is in that light. You can send it back and forth. Not as pronounced. You cannot see either of the side marker lights. So you lost that detail. That is one of the problems with using a spray can, especially Rustoleum. It is thicker and you do lose some fine detail. You can kind of see across the grill and the front plate that's in there. You can see the separation just a little bit. It's not really pronounced on the other model either. Bumper, you can tell back here where the bumper inserts, this is a little bit softer. So you've got to build up a paint there on the inside of that. Again, it's what comes with this kit. I have the kit in front of me. I don't see the bumper anywhere though. It's sitting off to another side. Sorry. I was going to put the bumper on and see exactly what you could see with the bumper attached. So your louvers, they look really good. There's no major issues there. The back, you can still see great trunk lines, body lines. The door panels, you don't need to run a wash through that. As you can, the black paint still comes through. A little more noticeable in person, but someone else might want to run a wash through that or run one of the pins through it to kind of bring that out a little bit more. Again, just kind of going back over this body, you can see that front grille separation, the front nose piece separation a little bit better. The fender here blends in on both models, so it wasn't really separated, kind of soft like it should be, but you can definitely tell a big difference there on that back bumper back here where everything comes back into play. It's a lot more pronounced. So again, this body, same thing as this one. This is the body that I'm going to use for the build of the actual 73. So I would go through this, give it a light sand, somewhere 4,000, 5,000 grit, just kind of knock that off, and then go through, grab the Novus 2 and then the Novus 1 polish. And that's probably about as far as I would go. The Rustoleum body might need a little bit more just to get the orange peel out of the top, or out of the body. It's definitely orange peeled. Some places worse than others. So again, that part's on me. That's not the paint. That's on me. So sides look really good. Like I said, the top has some orange peel, but I would do the whole body. Going back over once again, you have an airbrush body, which is here, and then you have the Rustoleum body here. They both look really good. I wouldn't complain. Again, with the finish of the paint job, just have to go back through, sand, and get and knock everything off. So, anybody has any questions, concerns, what size, airbrush nozzle, anything like that, reach out. Let me know what you think. Be nice. And then I've got a couple other projects I'm working on, and get a couple other videos out today, or out this week, hopefully. Other than that, guys, girls, gang, hit the subscribe button for me. Like it, dislike it. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. That's perfectly fine. It doesn't hurt my feelings whatsoever. That's how you learn. That's how you learn. That's how you grow. So hopefully everybody liked this. I know it's kind of lengthy. I do plan on doing a duplicolor video, and I also plan on using Tamiya spray cans as well. I did just buy some really cool paints that I haven't used. Some wicked colors. Some of them look pretty cool. Have a couple ideas for a hot rod for that. Other than that, I'll get off on another tangent here, and this video is going to be an hour long. Guys, gals, gang, everybody, I appreciate you sitting through all this. I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you on the next video.